Hi guys, this is going to be a very short, or not very short, it's going to be a short video of analysis of the second tier of talents, specifically for raiding mages. Now I don't need to think about these in any kind of spec because it doesn't matter, they're all completely separate from spec. So as a raiding mage, first I'll say that blazing speed is pretty much useless. Every boss in Cataclysm, in raids, there's no reason to take blazing speed over the other two. There's nothing where the mobility is that important. The only one I could actually think of was Ragnaros if you were doing the Dread Flame. Problem is, if you're doing the Dread Flame, you're not taking any damage to prop blazing speed anyway, so you're screwed. So blazing speed has no place at the moment. It would take something very gimmicky to put that in. So the analysis is then between Temporal Shield and Ice Barrier. Now, a lot of bosses can actually be one or the other. So now what you have to understand is what the purpose behind each one of these is, what they do, what their advantages are. The advantage of Temporal Shield is you can kind of you don't lose any DPS using it, and you can use it all the time, and it will just heal up the damage you do, which will keep your healers nice and happy. That's kind of cool. It's also very, very strong, so the maximum it can do is your hit points -1. So right now, if I took, say, 160,000 damage and had Temporal Shield up, that will heal me for 160,000 damage, which is like way more than Ice Barrier does. Ice Barrier is only like 50,000 at the moment. So your Temporal Shield has the potential to do absolutely shitloads, providing you take big hits, or providing it absorbs a lot, providing it's doing a lot of healing. Now Ice Barrier on the other hand, the weakness of it though is it's only in a 4-second period. So you have to be very specific about when it's going to happen. You have to know exactly, bam, I'm taking the damage now. Ice Barrier on the other hand, its advantage is you can throw it up and say, cool, I am safe for a minute. Or I'm safer for a minute. I'm going to be fine. However, it's going to cost you DPS. It costs a global cooldown to do it. So, if you run through a few bosses, we'll just run through Dragon Soul. So Melodiac, the damage you take is always predictable. You always know when the crystal is going to explode. You always know when there's going to be a stomp. So Temporal Shield is your talent of choice on something like Melodiac. On the Tentacle bosses, on Oz or whatever you call them, both have your arguments. In the normal phase, when the ball is bouncing, the damage can be slightly unpredictable. That's kind of bullshit. The damage is quite predictable. I would probably lean on the side of Temporal Shield being the best on Xanath. In the black phase you're taking constant damage, but I don't... See, that's the other thing, is every time you cast Temporal Shield, for it to be better than Ice Barrier, it has to do slightly less healing than how much Ice Barrier can potentially absorb. The reason why I say slightly less is because it doesn't cost you any DPS to do it. So it already has a net benefit to it. So some of the other bosses, the Blob boss, I don't know its name, when it's like red one's up, it's slightly unpredictable whether you're going to take big hits or not, but at other times the damage is more predictable, like when green's up. So there's arguments for both of them there. For Altraxian type fights where there's constant damage, you will probably always take Temporal Shield because you're just going to throw it up randomly. A good example for this is the boat boss. Another like good example of the differences between these two is the boat boss. Like them little purple swirlies, if you were perhaps solo soaking one of them, but you didn't quite have enough hit points for it, you could use Ice Barrier. It buffs your hit points. You can take slightly bigger hits with Ice Barrier. Whereas Temporal Shield, if you could soak them on your own without dying, you can use Temporal Shield then to heal yourself up and to mitigate that damage. So that in essence is what you look at between Temporal Shield and Ice Barrier. temporal shield, the damage has got to be predictable, but it has the potential to be incredibly strong. Ice barrier will increase your hit point pool so you can take a bigger hit, and it's more along the lines of, I'm going to take damage but I'm not sure when, so I'm going to put this up as a prevention. So that's kind of, you're going to have to analyse each boss and decide for yourself which of them scenarios it falls under. So that's basically the analysis of the second tier. So thanks for watching.